Muy buenas noches a todos. Estamos en el día de hoy con la consejera Damaris Ricón, la consejera cristiana. ¿Cómo está, Damaris?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm good. This is going to be a bilingual interview, okay? So bear with us. Ok, en el día de hoy vamos a estar hablando sobre extendiendo el perdón al ex cónyuge luego de un divorcio. Muy importante, ya sabemos que pues Dios nos manda a perdonar y vivir en armonía unos con otros. Damaris, quiero comenzar con esta pregunta. Según la Biblia, ¿qué dice Dios sobre el divorcio?
Well, that is actually a really good question. I'm going to try to give it as in generalized as I possibly can, because I think the Bible has a lot to say about divorce. But the root of everything that is in the Bible in regards to it all is that marriage itself was meant to be a union, right? It was meant to be a holy union where two people come together, they love each other, and they do everything based off of God, and they make everything work. So divorce was not necessarily something that was in God's plan, right? It wasn't something that was okay, nothing that was the way that it was supposed to be done. Now, if we go into the real issues of whether it's sin or it's not sin, I think that that's a much deeper question that we would probably need a couple of hours to discuss.
Ok, ¿y qué dice la Biblia sobre el perdón? Que pues es muy importante y es algo esencial en la vida de todas las personas y en todas las relaciones o cuando somos lastimados, pero específicamente, ¿verdad? Estamos en el tema del divorcio. ¿Qué dice la Biblia sobre el perdón luego del divorcio?
Gotcha. One of the things that I really like about one of the stories that I really like is the one where God is talking to, or when Christ is talking to one of his disciples, and he says, you have to forgive them 7 times 70, right? You have to constantly forgive them over and over and over again. And I think that's easier said than done. I think a lot of the times when we're angry and we have some sort of bitterness or issues in our heart, how easy is it to go up to somebody and be like, hey, you know what? I forgive you. It's not easy. It's hard. It's difficult. But the truth of the matter is that God definitely says that if you forgive other people, he's going to forgive you. So what does that mean? We have to do it. We have to strive for it.
Yeah, amen. La próxima pregunta. ¿Qué es lo primero que le sugerirías a una persona que esté dolida y guarde rencor a su excónyuge luego de divorciarse?
That's also a really in-depth question, and I like it. I think it also really depends on what kind of counseling we're doing. If we're talking about secular counseling, it's a different method. If we're talking about specifically Christian counseling, a different method, right? But the very first step that like an in general step that I would take is really delving deep. I would ask this person if we could walk to the root cause of it all, because I can't give counseling. I can't help this person if I don't know what started it all, when that anger started, when those issues started. I would just be making assumptions, and that wouldn't be very good of me as a counselor. So let's talk about it, really.
Okay. Básicamente es ¿verdad? Que la persona sea honesta y sea abierta contigo como consejera cristiana para tú poder entonces darle las herramientas que necesita.
Yeah, and also that's going to help that person, because if you think about it, a lot of the times people come in to counseling and do they really know what the root cause of it is? They know that they're going through this divorce or they're going through this issue, but they don't really know when it first started, when those issues of bitterness started. They think it may have started after the divorce, but what if it started before and it happened to help with the divorce? So all of those things have to come out, and they have to learn about themselves and their heart and figure out a better path to go down. So we got to talk about the root cause.
Okay. Y la siguiente pregunta, ¿qué herramientas se le pueden proveer a esta persona para que sane su herida y vuelva a la vida? Porque definitivamente el no perdonar, pues estamos hablando de una persona que está guardando raíces de amargura, que está cargando con un malestar en la vida, con resentimiento, con rencor, y ya sabemos que eso definitivamente le hace daño a las personas y no está viviendo, la persona no está realmente viviendo en plenitud como Dios quiere que nosotros vivamos. Entonces te pregunto, ¿qué herramientas se le pueden proveer a esta persona para que sane y pueda vivir plenamente?
I think, again, it really depends whether we're talking about secular versus Christian counseling. I think there are many different tools that can be given in one way or another. so without delving too deep into it, because again, it would take a really long time, I think there are certain activities that can be done during the counseling sessions that would help that person kind of come out of their shell and talk a little bit more. Because a lot of the times people think that a counselor is just supposed to sit there and give you advice the entire time. But if you're just throwing advice to the person 24/7 during that counseling, it's going to come in this ear, go out the other. They're not going to catch on to everything. So maybe slow down a little bit, give those activities that can go one way or another, depending on the counseling that you're given. And then just a couple of really helpful tips that will help them. Just, hey, maybe don't talk to family and friends about the issues that you're going through. Try to keep it to yourself while we're doing this and until you're healed, because you're going to, everything is going to come out of here. You're going to create issues by talking all the time. And just try to have that division. Don't let it get to your family, like your kids. If you have kids, don't let it get to your kids. So little tips like that could go both ways, both in Christian and secular.
Y es bien importante eso que acabas de mencionar y me alegra, el no incluir terceras personas, porque pues, ¿verdad? Los familiares y amistades de ellos pues pueden asumir una postura en la que van a defender a su sangre, por decirlo así, muchas veces, y en vez de que las cosas mejoren, pues pueden hacer que empeoren, o que las personas lo cojan personal hacia su excónyuge que no tiene nada que ver y se pueden relacionar entre sí. Ellos, las familiares se pueden continuar relacionando con el excónyuge de su familiar después del divorcio, porque pues, ¿verdad? Una relación no tiene que ver con la otra realmente. Yo por mi parte, pues yo tengo relación con una de las excónyuges de un hermano mío y esa es mi hermana. Se fue hace 2 días de aquí, ella vino de Puerto Rico de visita y se fue hace apenas 2 días. Y esa es mi hermana, donde quiera que yo voy. Y es realmente es la ex esposa y madre de mis sobrinos, la ex esposa de uno de mis hermanos. Es bien importante eso que acabas de mencionar, de no involucrar a la familia y amistades para no hacer más grande la herida, pues para no agrandar las cosas. La siguiente pregunta, ¿crees que un grupo de apoyo, talleres o consejería cristiana a padres luego del divorcio es una herramienta? ¿Y por qué? Si consideras que es una herramienta, ¿por qué crees que es una buena herramienta?
Yes, it's actually a really good tool, because a lot of the times people that are going through a divorce or that are going through any issue, really, they need some sort of support. They need some sort of help. So instead of having support out in the world, that kind of support that it's nice to have it out there, but really, how is that secular support going to help somebody, really help somebody, both not only on the outside, but also the spiritual realm, if they're not Christian? A Christian can go out to get those support meetings out there, but the correct place is going to be the church, right? Because what is the church? It's basically a hospital for the broken, for those that are going through divorce, through those who are going through all of these issues. So a hospital is going to have those support wings, it's going to have that medicine that you need. And we need that in the church. We definitely need that, because a counselor is all great and all, but we need a little bit more support than just a counselor.
Amen. La siguiente pregunta, ¿cómo una persona divorciada y sentida con su expareja debe comportarse en frente de los hijos? Si existiera alguno de los hijos, mientras pasa por este proceso de perdonar a su expareja y sanar, ¿cómo debería ser el comportamiento frente a los hijos?
To keep it really neutral, let's just say civilized. Be as civilized as you possibly can. Because the truth of the matter is, when you're going through a divorce, there may not be any more love for that person. You may be, or maybe there is, but you're just super hurt, you're super angry, but your children have absolutely nothing to do with that. They are not at fault for it. It is not their issue. It is your issue with your ex. And at the end of the day, if you're sitting there and you're yelling at your ex, or you're projecting all of these problems right in front of that child, what are you causing? You're causing trauma. And that trauma is going to eventually seep into the relationships of that child for the rest of their life. So when they're an adult trying to get into their own relationship, what's in the back of their head? Their subconscious mind. The trauma that you caused because you did not remain civilized. So just be civilized, be kind. Remember, the kid has nothing to do with it. Create that division.
Yes. Ok, ya sabemos que el divorcio es pecado, ¿verdad? Como bien dice la Biblia, a Dios no le gusta el divorcio, Dios no creó la unión para que las personas se divorcien, pero mentir y odiar también es pecado. ¿Qué proceso recomendarías o utilizarías para una persona que no ha perdonado a su expareja y que esté afectando su vida espiritual, la de sus hijos y a sí mismo?
So that question kind of ties into number one, and it also ties into the last one that we have. I think, again, there needs to be a division. There needs to be a huge division in your life. If you are going through this pain and through these issues of divorce, and you're letting it seep into your spiritual life, yes, it's understandable, but it should not affect your relationship with God, right? There needs to be that division. And if on top of that, it's affecting your kids, understand that it's not just your kids' normal day-to-day life, it's also their spiritual life. Again, a division. You cannot let it seep into every single aspect. And obviously it's going to affect you yourself, like that part of the last part of that question, it is going to affect you. But if you don't have that division, you're going to end up breaking down every single part of your life. So you got to deal with it separately.
Yes, yes. Y puede afectar el diario vivir, como dices, el diario vivir de la persona en general, sus relaciones con las demás personas, etcétera. La última pregunta es la siguiente. A veces la culpa puede invadir a personas cristianas por el hecho de ser divorciados, y esto puede influir en que no sirvan en la iglesia, en no ser líderes o en asumir un llamado ministerial, lo cual inconscientemente puede llevarlos a guardar resentimiento hacia su ex. No es que quieran odiarlo, pero están teniendo un cambio de vida y pueden sentirse culpables por su posición de ser personas divorciadas y sentir que pues debido a eso no pueden servir en la iglesia. No necesariamente tiene que ser así, que la iglesia no les permita servir, sino es como ellos se sienten. ¿Cómo se le puede ayudar a estas personas en conjunto con la iglesia? Porque la iglesia, ¿verdad?, va a ser importante en esta área. ¿Cómo se le puede ayudar a estas personas en conjunto con su iglesia a pasar esta etapa y a que vivan una vida plena en Cristo? Que no se sientan culpables de servirle a Dios, ser líderes o si tienen llamado ministerial asumirlo luego de un divorcio.
Gotcha. Again, another great question, lots of depth in it, but to keep it a little bit short, I think number one, we have to focus on expectations. Okay, this is my personal opinion. I am not saying that every single church should take this opinion. This is just what I've seen in my own life. I don't think it's fair to the person that is going through a deep hurt, such as a divorce, to be expected to still serve up in the pulpit, to still serve up there and to minister to the people. And why do I say this? Because when you're up there and you're ministering, what are you doing? You're quite literally manifesting the spirit that's within you on the people. You're quite literally ministering what is within you to the people. So if the church is not being supportive and it is instead putting too much burden, too much expectation on this person, they're going to be projecting their hurt and their pain. What they should be doing is instead take off that expectation, give them a little bit of room to heal and walk with them. Hold their hand for a little bit and just tell them, hey, it's okay. We're right here with you. We have the support groups. We have people that are here to love on you the entire time that you're going through this. And we're going to pray for you. And during this time, take a step back. If you feel the need to take a step back and just spend some time alone with God and heal, do it. So my number one thing is expectations need to kind of go out a little bit and understand that those people, they don't need expectations. They just need love and support.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Definitivamente sí necesitan el amor y el apoyo y entender que luego que sanen, Dios aún los sigue recibiendo y que su llamado ministerial, que es muy posible que algunos hayan tenido llamado ministerial desde antes de verdad, desde antes de divorciarse y pues en ese lapso del divorcio, como bien dices, que están sanando, porque es bien delicado poner las vidas de otras personas en sus manos mientras ellos están sanando, tienen que dedicarse a sanar. Pero luego que pasan de este proceso es importante que sepan que su llamado ministerial, si ya lo tenían, no tiene por qué caducar, porque es un llamado que Dios tiene para ellos, es cuestión de que pasen por este proceso como acabas de mencionar.
Agreed.
Bueno, muchas gracias, Damaris. Yo quiero terminar con este versículo bíblico en Efesios 4:32, dice, por el contrario, estoy leyendo de la Nueva Traducción Viviente, dice, por el contrario, sean amables unos con otros, sean de buen corazón y perdónense unos a otros tal como Dios los ha perdonado a ustedes por medio de Cristo. Como bien dijiste anteriormente, no es fácil, no va a ser fácil, pero con la ayuda necesaria de un profesional como tú, como ¿verdad? Un consejero cristiano, es posible, es posible. ¿Algo más que quieras decir, Damaris?
No, I think your questions pretty much covered everything. Counseling is not an easy thing, but at the end of the day, neither is divorce. It's
Yes.
not easy, and it's not something that can be solved overnight. So the church, especially in these situations, just needs to learn to be a little bit more patient and give a little bit more support. That's pretty much all I got.
Yes. No, y como dices, de la misma manera, en un divorcio tampoco es fácil. Entonces, como
Yeah.
bien dijiste, no es fácil y es necesario la consejería cristiana porque no se puede pasar solo. Es una pérdida y la persona, pues, ¿verdad? Va a ser bien difícil que lo pueda pasar solo con un outcome, un resultado positivo. Bueno, muchas gracias, Damaris, por estar con nosotros y contestar estas preguntas. Me encantaron todas tus respuestas. Aprendí un poquitito más contigo también, ¿verdad? Y nada, hasta la próxima, hopefully.
I gotcha. Thanks for having me.
Take care.
Bye.